It's going. Because it's flashing.
Did you turn the iPad on?
We finally started.
Thursday, September 5th, we're going to continue on with similes and metaphors and all those fun things. We'll pick up and continue from where we were before, just a wee bit to run through and help you guys out. You should have this information into your notebook. If not, then out of luck. If you were dead before, I'll have my notebook you can borrow if need be. Make sure you have the date in the top left. Make sure you have the title in the top middle. Make sure you have all that information into your notebook. Make sure you've given me your 2 examples of a simile, your 2 examples of a metaphor. We went through and said you have to compare 2 without being able to use the book in front of you, so don't be cheating and looking at that as we go through and do it. Which one goes through and uses like or as?
Simile.
Nice enough. The simile, which one goes through and compares 2 things by saying one thing is the other one?
Metaphor.
Nicely done, metaphor. Anytime we use similes or metaphors, we have to make sure we are comparing 2 what? Nouns. Nicely done. With our 2 nouns. Specifically, what do we have to make sure we don't do with those 2 nouns or about those 2 nouns?
Compare something with the same thing.
Nice enough. Make sure you're not comparing 2 of the same thing. And then what word can you not use in a simile or metaphor, or it becomes a wussy version and makes all of us sad on the inside? Nice enough. Do not use the word looks in your simile or metaphor, or it becomes a wussy version. Then we went through and started going through and figuring out our poem as far as no difference. And we figured out our first one, which said small as a peanut, big as a giant. We're all the same size when we turn off the light. We had to find our first simile in there. Well, boys. And our first simile or metaphor in there?
Small as a peanut.
Small as a peanut. Simile or metaphor?
Simile.
Simile, comparing what 2 things?
This peanut and like how small it is. Like the person.
Nicely done. Comparing the peanut and the person. And what do they have in common? They are both?
Small.
Nicely done. And then we had our next one.
It's comparing, it's a simile.
Where is it?
The second one.
Which says?
Big as a giant.
Big.
So
As a giant.
and it's comparing a giant to a person.
Nicely done. And they are both. And then we went to our second stanza. Rich as a king, poor as a mite. We're all worth the same when we turn off the light. First, we had to get to that word and know what that word means. And what does that word mean?
Like a small pest, like 5.
Nicely done. Like a small pest, and we're 7th graders. And then we had to find our similes or metaphors in there. I know how you feel. Had to find our similes or metaphors and find my first simile or metaphor.
Rich as a king.
And simile or metaphor.
Simile.
Comparing what 2 things?
Rich and a king.
Comparing rich and king. I don't want to hit it yet. It's too early in the morning. Because that'd be wrong. What 2 things are being compared to the month? Wait, let's back up. Martin, why can't we compare rich and king?
Well, because rich is an adjective.
Nicely done. Because rich is an adjective. And what things are we comparing, AK?
The person and
Works for me. 2 nouns, and here you're comparing a person to the king. Back to student of the month. Why are these 2 things have in common? They are both?
Rich.
Nice. Our next one we have, Raleigh is? Poor as a mite. Nicely done. Comparing what 2 things?
Person and a
Not
mite.
yours. Poor. It's all coming. And comparing mite and the person, and what they have in common, they're both?
Small.
Nice.
I mean poor.
Oh, it's got me there for a second. The fact that they're both poor. Third stanza. Red, black, or orange, yellow, or white. We all look the same when we turn off the light. Similes or metaphors that we have in there. Possible?
No.
No, you refuse to answer?
No. No similes.
Nicely done. No similes or metaphors in that one. And our final stanza. So maybe the way to make everything right is for God to just reach out and turn off the light. Similes or metaphors in there? Yes. David?
There.
Yes, that's right.
There are.
Nicely done. The fact that there are none. Then we went to this one, and we'll try to do this one speedily, since hopefully it should already be in your brains. We've already covered it at one time.
I forget.
So we can get to the fun things for today. My father is a man with hair like a rainbow. His nose is thought to be a large red tomato. McCartney, the first one.
Emily.
Where is it?
Hair like a rainbow.
Comparing what two things?
Hair and a rainbow.
What do they have in common? They're both full of?
Color.
Nicely done. Our next one that's on there, Hernandez.
His nose is like a large red tomato.
Comparing what two things?
His nose and a large red tomato.
What do they have in common?
They're both large and red.
Works. Nicely done. Next stanza. His feet seem to be small, flat-bottomed boats. They are large in size, lacking the ability to float. What do we have there, Bevan?
Oh. Okay. I think that they seem like his feet and flat bottom boats are being compared
Similar metaphor.
as a metaphor.
Are you asking me?
No.
No.
What?
So tell me then.
Alright.
Okay.
His feet are being compared to flat bottom boats in a metaphor.
Nicely done, Bevan. What do they have in common? They're both,
Small, flat bottom.
well, have you ever seen a boat?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a foot?
Yeah.
If we're comparing a foot to a boat, what are we trying to say about that foot?
Oh, it's large.
Nicely done. And it's usually those smaller than most boats, unless you guys ride really special boats. His face is painted with color so bright, where sometimes it's snow, a pale, eerie white. Omni?
A metaphor in
Where is it?
sometimes it is snow, a pale eerie white.
Nicely done. Comparing what two things?
His face to like snow.
Nicely done. What do they have in common? They're both?
Pale. White.
What? There you go. So what color's pale? Gray. No, close. That's a pale. Animals everywhere. People will be taken buying. His silly little dances, cheering kids who are crying. Liam? No, you sure? None in that one. All the people around him laugh near and far as he and 15 friends unload from the car. Grant? Are you asking me? I need confidence. I need strength. Power. Oh, my voice.
None.
What you're going to go with?
Yes.
Are you calling him a liar? Okay. Because he's right. Good job. Our next one. Their small, colorful bodies all spilling out like midges in Hawaiian shirts covered with trout. Trout rhymes with Evan. Just kidding. It's still you, though. Just messing with your head early in the morning.
I think there's a simile in the second line
There is.
because it's comparing midgets in Hawaiian shirts with the trout.
Getting close. That's all the same thing. They're saying something is being compared to midgets that are wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Oh,
And the shirts are covered.
The
in
small
trout.
colorful bodies are being compared.
Whose small colorful bodies? That's where it gets tough.
The people?
Whose people? Which people?
The clowns people?
Good enough. The people getting out of the car that are up there are being compared to midgets. Nicely done. I hate to see him nowadays when given a pie. White creamy frosting, white glue on his eyes. Sahum. Oh wait, I already picked on you. Skylar.
It's a simile, and it's comparing the frosting to his eyes. frosting to glue.
Nicely done. Sorry, I was processing slowly. It's my old person age. And why are we comparing frosting and glue? They're both
White.
good enough. Probably kind of sticky too. Juggling 6 objects, screaming ferrets or bowling pins. His arms moving so fast, it's just a whirlwind. Whitney?
None.
There is one. It's tricky though. It's not one you might normally think of as a metaphor, but technically it is.
His arms to a whirlwind.
Nicely done. Similar metaphor?
Metaphor.
Nicely done. And why are we comparing his arms to a whirlwind?
Because they're moving so fast.
Nicely done. And throughout the whole poem, it's a riddle poem trying to figure out who is being described, and what we find out his father is
A clown.
nothing but laughter as they fall to the ground. My poor darling father, my father, the clown.
Wah, 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 wah,
Alright.
wah, wah.
Ouch. In your notebook, turn back to that Bellwood page. If you've run out of room, go to your next Bellwood page, put the date and title again, because we're going to need several lines for this. I'd say probably 8 lines or so, maybe more if you write big. So make sure you go to the next Bellwork page, not the next homework page, put a title at the top. What goes in the top left?
Date.
Good job. You can use today's date or Tuesday's date. I'm happy either way. Whichever works best for you and makes you happy. What we're going to do now is see how well you are creating your own similes and metaphors. What I'm going to do is give you a picture. We'll skip that poem. You can do it at home if you want. I said, there we go.
Yeah.
What we have here is a rare picture of an Argentinian sink demon. What you're going to do is, with this picture of an Argentinian sink demon, you are going to write one simile and one metaphor about this picture. It can be about anything in the picture. You're going to find something and write one simile, one metaphor about things in the picture. You can write about the bottle is as tall as a tower. You could say the sink demon's eyes are red flame. Whatever you want, but you're going to write one simile, one metaphor about things in the picture.
Is that just a cat?
It's an Argentinian sink demon. When you put things in the sink, sometimes in Argentina, they come up through the sink and they are known to attack people. And this was a rare shot of one right before it leaped onto the guy's face and took him down. He did not survive. So you're going to write one simile, one metaphor. If you have problems writing a metaphor, write 2 similes. Turn your second simile into a metaphor. Your simile and metaphor have to be different. You cannot say the bottle is like a tall tower and then the bottle is a tall tower. Done. Doesn't work that way. You have to come up with 2 different comparisons. And then in a moment you're getting ready to read them. So you've got about a minute.
Wait, we all have to read them?
There's kids I like. You know, the ones that figured out how to put dates and titles at the top of their paper when they're really close to me, so I wouldn't have to hurt them. Well,
Is that like a cat?
Argentinian sink demon.
Is that really what it is? Yes. Listen to his words. I'm pretty sure
knows
it's a
what he's
cat.
talking about.
He's speaking
It's a
English.
sink demon from Argentina.
Little Lamb?
Do they come in American form?
No, just Argentina.
Okay.
Apparently ran up here.
Jeez.
And I'm sure if you went down there and found one and threw it in a suitcase, you'd probably bring it home. But once it gets back into the sinks, they travel back to Argentina. Grant?
Is it possible to tame one?
I don't know. I've never tried. I like my fingers.
So was this picture taken in Argentina?
Oddly enough, no, it was actually taken in Africa.
Oh, because Argentina's in Africa.
No, actually Argentina is over in
South-
China.
That is in South America.
Speak the truth.
So, just to be clear, this is not a cat. It is actually a sink demon.
It
Yes.
is not
Oh my
a
goodness.
We just said that.
So pudding, simile, metaphor, you know your stars. Little lamb.
Is there a difference between Argentina and Argentina?
Never heard of Argentina, just made that up.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is
Does it look like a cat?
No.
It looks like someone just threw a cat in the sink.
Be silly. Cats don't have eyes, everyone knows that.
Cats don't have eyes.
Wait, yeah, you're right. Cats don't.
My cat has eyes.
This is confusing.
Here.
I have 2 cats and they all have eyes.
Yeah, it doesn't have an eye.
Maybe Argentinian sink demons come with eye patches that would just rip its off.
Wait till you go online and watch this. Oh, he's teaching special kids. There's so nice of him.
Teaching one special.
No, there's not one.
That's
You're
hurtful.
laughing, Keegan.
Alright,
Like I said, that's her.
we're going to continue the game from yesterday's yesterday. Where you're going to get a chance to read yours out loud. Someone else is going to listen to it, and they're going to figure out if it's a simile or metaphor. Then you have to read the opposite of what was read to you. That's why you have to have one simile and one metaphor. Because if they read you a simile, you have to read a metaphor. If they read a metaphor, you have to read a simile. I wish you the best of luck. Bevan,
Can I go first?
what? Brawlig already called it. So Brawlig has to go first.
You
Because
picked
I've
up.
not picked on you yet, Brawlig.
You have.
You again?
I have?
You have.
Bella? Might I picked on Bella yet?
Yep.
No, you haven't.
Morning. It threw me off because you and I had a conversation earlier, so my brain thought I already called on you, but I don't want you to feel sad. That'd be a horrible way to spend the rest of the day. Alright. We'll have you go ahead and pick one of yours and have you read it out loud for, technically I've not picked on Keegan. So read one of yours for Keegan.
Technically.
You haven't
Keegan.
called on Matt.
I haven't picked on a lot of people yet. Don't you worry yet. And you're going to read it out loud for Keegan. He's going to tell me just a similar metaphor, what's being compared, and then why. So make sure you have a reason why you wrote your simile and metaphor. Don't give me the example of, my desk is a shoe. Because there's no reason for that, and it hurts my brain unless you can explain it. If you can't explain it, we go back to hurting you. Are you ready? Alright, hang on 1 second. I gotta get water. Priorities. Wow, that looks really cool on the screen. It looks like a sink demon.
Actually, mine just looks like a cat.
It looks like a cat.
It's not a cat. It's
So
an
I'm
Argentine
teaching, do you watch me or do you watch the screen?
I watched you.
Okay.
I watched. Well, sometimes I'll feel like.
I'm pretty sure that it is a cat.
Alright, Bella, out loud.
The sink demon's fur is like a furry wet pillow.
The sink demon's fur is like a furry, wet pillow pet.
That is a simile.
What word makes it a simile?
Like
Like, comparing what two things?
the wet fur and a wet pillow pet.
And what do they have in common?
They're both wet
Good enough.
and fluffy.
Alright, we'll have you read your map, kid.
The sink is a portal.
The sink is a portal.
A metaphor.
Metaphor, comparing what two things?
A portal and the sink.
Nicely done. Why are we comparing them?
Because sink demon can travel through.
Works for me. Things travel through them. Technically, it is a portal, but it's good enough for me. Alright, Thompson, read yours for the so-hum.
You already picked on one.
What's that?
You already picked one, so
I know. I think I picked on everyone.
No, you haven't.
Oh, you haven't talked earlier.
You haven't picked on me.
No, you haven't. You haven't picked on
I picked on
mine.
you also.
No, you picked on you.
I picked on Zach.
He caught you.
Yeah, you haven't picked on Mr. Sheep yet.
Fine. Read yours to Bender.
The stickers on the soap bottle are like eyeballs.
The stickers on the soap bottle are like eyeballs. What word makes me similar? Comparing what two things?
Stickers on the soap bottle and eyeballs.
What do they have in common?
Are circles and they look.
Good job. and they follow you wherever you go. All right, Bender, read yours for Patty.
The Argentinian sink demon is a marshmallow.
Metaphor.
Well, you were on top of that one, weren't you? Comparing what two things?
Argentinian symptom of a marshmallow.
Demon, not devil. Demon. Devil's silly.
Demon.
Okay. And
A marshmallow.
what do they have in common? They're both.
Maybe the American.
Good job. All right, read yours for Grant. He's over there.
Mr. Broviak, it's an American sink devil.
The Argentinian symptom demon is wet like an ocean.
Is wet like an ocean.
Simile,
Can you use what word?
like
Bring what two things?
the sink and the ocean.
Not the sink.
The sink demon and ocean.
And what they have in common? They're both.
Wet.
Nice. All right, you'll get to start the next one. We're going to go to our next picture. So draw a little squiggly. Squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. And we're going to go to another one. We're going to do similes and metaphors. All right, we'll stick with that one. So one simile, one metaphor.
I don't know what to make of this.
Well, remember, you can also do, the wooden track, the people in the background. You can do the stairs. You can do the angry rhinoceros. If you rode a roller coaster with the angry rhinoceros, it'd freak you out too. It looks like she's charging. We'll give you a moment to start. Well, finish. We've already started. In the moment Grant's going to read, who knows who's, I know who's going to read too, but you guys don't know who's going to read too. Yes?
Am I the only one who noticed behind that person, the mom, there's a kid without a parent?
Oh,
in the same
snap.
scene.
Here?
No,
No.
behind her.
Here?
Yeah.
There's something here though.
That's a hat.
That's a flower.
That's the
Flower
hat.
on the head?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's holding her kid too.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's a short midget, I don't know. Midgets like roller coasters.
Who wants that
do.
pink thing?
They say it's a flower
That's a
on her
flower.
head.
That's a
on the
flower on
hat.
her hat.
Or
I think.
whatever you describe it as. Ouch. I know. Great pictures.
How do you find these?
This magical world called the internet.
Like, what do you look up?
I don't. I just, whenever people send out pictures, I just save the ones I think are cool. I just have a big file of all the pictures.
So,
The internet's been around for like 2 or 3 years, so I've been collecting them for a while. Omni.
so people just send out that picture.
Well, I mean, not like that individually, but they'll send out like a list of, these are funny photos, look at these people. And I go through there and I'm like, ooh, that one's saved. No, that one's saved. And so I just save them. Plus, there's websites you can go to that have like pictures on them. I get bored. I'll go to those sometimes. Grant, you about ready?
No, I just a second.
Because we're going to have you read the Bailey in just a moment.
I really want to read both of mine.
How do you spell rhinoceros?
H-I-N-O Saurus.
I have rhinoceros in mine too.
I don't know.
Cheers.
I didn't have rhinoceros in mine.
Wait, how do you spell the last part? It's rhino, and
Just
then
put
how do you spell the Thurs?
C-E-R-O-U-S.
Is it really
Good.
that? Is it really that hard to write out rhino?
Mr. Broviak, I have a question. You have tape
I do. Why?
because my library doesn't have thingy and I told you that.
Ready, Bailey? Me too. Grant,
Yeah.
read the opposite of what was read to you.
You should be a metaphor.
Shh.
Wait, I don't remember.
It's okay. Bailey wasn't paying attention. You're fine.
Whoops. The mom is an angry rhinoceros.
Mom was an angry rhinoceros.
It's a metaphor because
And what two things are being compared?
the mom and an angry rhinoceros.
What do they have in common?
They're both angry and rhinoceroses.
They are both kind of tubby.
That's me and Keegan.
That's
Right.
me. It looks
That's
like
just me and Keegan.
Yeah, you should
Is
make
that
fun of
everybody has.
Let him lose points on his own goals.
I'm not sure if that's the insult.
Bailey, good job. Ready to read yours? Good, me too. Read yours too. Sure. Font.
The girl's eyes are as large as saucers. Well, that's a simile.
It is. Using what word?
Like, as.
Yep. And compare what two things?
Saucers and her eyes.
What do they have in common?
They're both really big and obscure.
Works for me. Read yours for AK.
The man was an angry rhino about to charge through the railing.
It's a metaphor.
It kind of does look like a man with earrings.
It's an it.
That's a woman?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was kind of pointing out. It looks like a man with earrings. I agree, Zach.
I don't think so.
I agree. It looks like a man with earrings.
Turn it off.
It's a
Wants
man.
it too.
That's a man.
That's a woman.
No, she has a purse
We
on.
just call it an it. We don't
Look at
know.
his decorative stripe.
Anyway,
That's a
back to
man.
your
Totally.
obscure
Yeah, that's a man.
writing. What you have?
The man was an angry rhino about to charge through the railing.
An angry what?
Writing.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a metaphor. It's comparing a man to a rhino.
What do they have in common?
But they're not a man.
That's okay.
They're both rhinos.
How is that?
She's not a rhino.
Well,
Why,
she looks like a rhino.
why does she look like a rhino?
Because she's bigger.
I tell you, it's a man with
See, that's
earrings.
nicer than
More of the scrunchy face
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that.
I'm pretty sure that's a man
We're
wearing
still
earrings.
talking. And AK, let's have you read yours for Ben.
Her eyes are as big as the roller coaster itself.
Alright, simile. And it's as,
Good.
and it's comparing her eyes and the roller coaster and how tall it is or big it is or,
Size.
yeah, size.
Alright, Bevan, we'll let you start the next one. We'll get away from this one and the strange man, woman, and apparently your guys is stuck on the rhino thing.
Oh gosh. I want that for my home.
That's a ponycorn.
What?
That's
Ponycorn.
Are they real?
They're
And
very
mine's a
common in parts
roadcorn.
of Polynesia.
I want a Polynesian.
That's a Brovicorn.
Yeah.
Different. That's a ponycorn. It's a Brovicorn.
Mr.
Found completely different parts of the world.
Broviak.
So fine, still talking. Finding one simile, one metaphor for anything you see in there. Remember, you don't have to just focus on the beauty of the ponycorn. You have the grass, the chair, you have the wood, you have the invisible guy in the back. You have your choice of any of those things. Kid who wanted to raise his hand.
Dang it, I just forgot what I was. Oh, wait, yeah, I remembered it. Was that picture taken on October 31st?
November 2nd.
Dang it.
Don't forget your squiggly line, separating your other ones from this one. And
What does it say right now?
ponycorn, spelled with an I, not a Y.
Oh, is that a guy or a girl?
Hang on.
Why do you want to know?
Because I don't want to say.
It's a boy.
Okay. That's kind of weird.
Why do you keep getting he-she pictures?
I don't. You guys just see these things in there. I don't judge by and the gendered ponycorns. That's how they all dress. The female ones wear more of a skirt in the back. And they feel different on the legs. That's how I can tell. Still a boy. You guys telling me all your other classes aren't like this too?
No.
Not really.
No, they're all worse.
They're kind of boring. terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of the classes were like,
I fell asleep in English.
No,
oh,
what?
I just
already.
learned this.
It was fun.
This is English.
No,
Do you have a
English
simile and metaphor?
Yeah, I
Then
was.
no questions. Yeah, learn first, then question. Questions have no place in learning. I like how you guys just accepted it. Oh, that don't make sense.
No, I was like,
So who we stop on? Devin?
Wait, I'm still thinking. This is a hard one.
that was the easiest one.
No way.
The invisible man in the background is like a ghost haunting the land of Ponycoronia.
What the invisible man comes with?
He isn't a ghost.
Is the invisible man a ponycorn?
It's a man. Did you
Is
tell
the
me?
man on the
You can't see the invisible man.
Right there.
How do you know it's a man? It doesn't have his glasses on.
Well, obviously he's a man because of his hat.
What hat? Yeah,
The man hat that says, I'm a man.
I know you think Similes, so how do you know?
You can't judge people by their hat. I haven't had my glasses on yet. The ponycorn was as handsome as
You ready,
Broviak.
Devin?
Oh yeah.
You sure?
The invisible man is a ghost.
Shh, not ready for you yet. So you just cheated and used mine?
Yeah.
What do I do with the rhinoceros?
The pride in me is welling up. Sure, read yours for that Gabby kid.
The invisible man is a ghost.
It's a metaphor.
Good. Comparing what two things?
The invisible man and the ghost.
What do they have in common?
They're both like invisible. Like, they both are haunting the thing.
Sure. The man does that. You ready, Gabby?
What?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, read yours for Chloe.
Okay. The ponycorn is a wait, no.
No.
The grass was as long as the tower.
That's a simile
Using what word?
as,
Good.
and
Very
it's
much.
comparing the grass and the tower.
And what do they have in common?
They're both tall.
Tall.
Yeah, change it to tower.
Makes more sense now for them.
Yeah.
Chloe, read yours for the McCartney kid.
The horse was a pretty princess.
There's a horse.
The pony
Oh,
Invisible corn.
the ponycorn
was a pretty princess.
was a pretty princess. Comparing what two things?
Pony and
No.
What do they have in common?
They both dress like
In wonderful pinks and frillies. Nicely done. Alright, we'll have you read yours for Luke.
Cinderella is like a ponycorn.
Cinderella is like a ponycorn.
Cinderella dresses
Is that what he just read to you?
Cinderella.
Bad McCartney. She just read that to you.
No, I read a simile to her.
And you read a metaphor?
Mm-hmm.
And then you read, I apologize, McCartney. You got lucky that time. What was it again, Luke?
A ponycorn is like Cinderella.
Simile using what word? Comparing what two things? What do they have in common? He is a princess. What a lovely guy. From there, turn back to your table of contents. Enough silly pictures with hard emotion. There's no place in school.
Whoa!
I don't see it!
Other pictures you guys didn't get to have, so I rotate pictures throughout the day. Other classes get to have fun too. In your table of contents, which side does this go on? Which side is that?
Left.
The left. Should be number 3 on the left-hand side. Using today's date. No. The title is called Big Picture. Find your next available homework page. For most of you, what page should that be?
5.
Should be 5. Then turn to page 5. What do you put in the top left? What do you put in the top middle? Then, what you're going to be doing is finding a picture in your big book that you have in front of you right there. Then, you're going to write 3 similes and 3 metaphors about that picture. The most important thing that you're going to do is the thing in red. Write down the page number. If you don't write down the page number, you get no credit, because we have to be able to go back and look at the picture. So write down the page number, then 3 similes, 3 metaphors. Whatever picture you choose, you need to make sure you can come up with 6 different comparisons, because you're not going to turn your similes into metaphors. I don't want you to put the grass is a green leprechaun. The grass is like a green leprechaun. The man is an ugly troll. The man is like an ugly troll. I mean, come up with 6 different things in it. 3 similes, 3 metaphors. When is it due?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. When do you have time to work on it?
Right now.
Nicely. Now you can start flipping through, find a picture, write down the page number, 3 similes, 3 metaphors. Yes.
Can the pictures somewhat relate to each other? Like one of them I found.
Well, you're going to use 1 picture total.
I mean
Can
the.
you show what the metaphors relate?
Yeah, because what I found is that the picture there was snowing